On today's episode, Making Chocolate with Mark McGuire of the McGuire Chocolate Company.
Then, Mark and his wife, Victoria, take the Good Day from the Bay Questionnaire.
And then we take the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
From your hometown local station, this is Good Day from the Bay with Vicki, Hogarth, and Jonathan Brittain.
Good Day from the Bay. I'm Vicki Hogarth.
And I'm Jonathan Brittain. Good day from the Bay, everyone.
Welcome to another exciting episode where we celebrate all things Southwest New Brunswick.
We have a delightful show lined up for you today. We're kicking things off with a sweet adventure and ending with a splash, literally.
A very cold splash, I might add. Jonathan and I will be doing the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge in honor of the 10th anniversary of the viral awareness campaign.
But before we get soaked for a good cause, we're going to wet our palates with a visit to the McGuire Chocolate Company in St. Andrews.
McGuire takes handcrafted chocolate to the next level, and clearly you at home agree, because we kick off every episode by asking you, our viewers, our Good Day from the Bay question of the day.
Today's question is, where's your favorite place to get a sweet treat? We asked you on Facebook, but we also took to the streets to find out where you satisfy your sweet tooth.
Let's take a look at what you had to say.
Tall Toms, they have vegan ice cream and popcorn.
My favorite place to get a sweet treat in the morning is Honey Beans Coffee. And my favorite sweet treat in the afternoon is ice cream at McGuire's.
Oh, that would have to be Honey Beans Cafe. They have a lot of gluten-free options and really big cookies.
Since I am a McGuire, although no relation, I love McGuire's chocolate. They have the best energy bars and ice cream, and it's just the best place in town.
McGuire Chocolate is definitely a crowd favorite, and that's perfect because we're heading there ourselves.
Jonathan and I recently paid a visit to McGuire Chocolate, where co-founder Mark McGuire showed us the care and craftsmanship that goes into creating every piece of chocolate. Let's take a look.
Welcome to McGuire Chocolate in St. Andrews by the Sea. I'm Mark McGuire, and today we're going to learn how to make chocolate. Follow me. So we are sorting the cacao first. So when you get the beans from the farms, there can be different sizes, they can be different conditions, and there can even be foreign objects in the bags. So we go through and we dump the beans over these screens, and so the small stuff falls through, and so we're only looking at the bigger beans, and then we filter out beans that might have damaged husks, because if we're going to roast these beans in the next step, and if there's good cacao nib exposed to the heat, it's going to roast a lot differently. So we want to just filter all of those out. So we take these beans and we remove them so that they are not being roasted. So that's what we're doing right now, is we're just going through and getting cacao ready for roasting. So we've got them in separate categories here. This is our rubbish pile, so we're not going to do anything with these ones. They're just too far gone. There's nothing good in there for us. But this pile has lots of really good nib that just wouldn't roast well. So what we do is we combine all of these runt beans across all of our origins, and we take the shells off of them, and we just skip the roasting step altogether, and we do an unroasted batch of chocolate. So we are going to be roasting our cacao, and so I'm just preparing the oven, getting preheated a little bit, and then I'm going to load all of this cacao that we just sorted into the roaster, and it is going to heat up the cacao, and that will change the flavor profile of the chocolate. I am going to roast it at 370 degrees Fahrenheit, and it will roast, we're going to do about 53 minutes. All right, so we're at 53 minutes, and so I'm going to work with a little bit of urgency here. Bring the drum around so that I can access the beans. And I open the chamber. All right, I am at 237, so that's good enough. I think that's going to be lovely. And so I am extracting the beans into our cooling tray. And so now I've got all my cacao, and I'm going to put it onto this tray. And I've got a commercial vacuum under here, which is sucking air down through the beans. And that's going to cool them quickly. All right, so we've got our roasted cacao. It's been cooled. Now we're going to take the shells off. So I could hand peel these cacao beans. They're covered in a husk, and we do not want the husk to end up in the chocolate. We want just the inside. That is what we call cacao nib. And so that is what becomes chocolate. So we've got to get all of these shells off of this cacao. And so the shell is lighter than the nib. So we're going to use that concept, and we're going to crush all of these and then blow away the lighter shells. And so we've got a machine that's going to help us do that. So I'm just going to load up my machine. The inner workings of this bad boy are essentially, there's a blower here, and so when I turn this on, there's a cracker and a blower. So the cracker is going to crush the cacao. We can set the dimensions of how much space we want that cracker to be, because different cacao beans will be different sizes, different densities, and so you might want, the tighter it is, the slower it will be, because it's a smaller gap for the cacao to fit through. But the more thoroughly crushed it will be. So there's that, and then there's two blowers. We've got one blowing the first pass through here that's collecting all of the shell in there, and then everything else is going to fall down this ramp, and then we have another blower on the other side of this that's going to shove away a second round of undesirable shell. And then at the end, we'll end up with mostly nib. We're going to still hand pick it because we're very thorough about very clean nibs, but the machine will do a lot of the work for us. So we just we have it all pre-programmed, and so I'm just going to turn that on, and away it goes. The winnower has done its thing, and so this will run continuously in the background all day, and so that was running for maybe 5 minutes or so, and we got, I would say, probably 1.5 kilograms out of there, so not bad, but you will see that we've got a lot of good clean nib here, but some shell, and so you shouldn't have more than, they say 1.5% shell, but I think that's ridiculous. 1% I find is crazy. We try to take our shell to about 0.25%, so almost no discernible shell. I find that I can really improve the quality of the chocolate just by having a little bit of patience. So now we are ready to grind our cacao into chocolate. So the cacao itself is 50% fat, and so when put under pressure, heat helps. It will activate the liquid. It will liquefy the fats. And so what we have here is a melanger, and so this is a machine which has 2 wheels, and the wheels are spinning as the bowl spins. So the wheels are granite, so they're heavy stones. And the base of this bowl is granite, and so it is, I can control the tension. Right now I've got the tension on quite loose because I'm putting the nibs in here, and so they're very big. So I need to have some space in between the two stones to get the nibs under there so the weight of the stones can liquefy them. And so this process, it takes between 4 and 7 days of just 24-hour processing. In the beginning, it's just nib, and so we're just getting that nib to liquefy, and once we get all of the nib in there and we let it grind for a little while, then we can add the additional ingredients that we're making into our chocolate. So today we're making a 67% the chocolate that we use in our brownies, our chocolate ice cream, our hot chocolate. We formulated this recipe to do very well in baking, and so we are going to get the cacao all assimilated, and then once the cacao kind of comes into form, it's about 90 microns, still visually gritty. That's the point where it's going to best accept other ingredients. So when they come together and form one thing, they come in unity. We measure the microns in the chocolate to bring it to 30 microns because that's as smooth as your tongue can taste. You can't tell the difference between 25 and 30. We bring it down to 30 so that no matter who's tasting the chocolate, it's fully smooth. And so I'll show you the machine that we use, or the tool to do that. And this chocolate is not even going to register. This is like gritty. And you can see it, like this is just starting, but you'll get the idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some chocolate and dab it on the bottom of the scale and then slide it on up. And so there's a whole bunch of holes in this strip here, and the holes are bigger at the top and they get smaller at the bottom. And so we've got, the scale starts at 50 microns. And so when we put this chocolate on, it's going to be off it's not even going to register. But as the chocolate becomes smoother and smoother, you start to see the chocolate falling into the holes. And so it looks smooth along the strip until it gets rough and gritty. And so it didn't fall in the hole at all. Like, it's just too big to fall into those holes. So we're going to keep grinding this until that chocolate can fall into those holes. So we're going to leave this chocolate and check it out in a few days. All right, welcome back. So it's Tuesday. It's been 4 days since we put this chocolate on. Over that time, the chocolate has been grinding away, becoming smoother and smoother. As the particle size gets smaller, we put the tension on the wheels to sort of allow them to continue to get smoother and smoother. So what we'll do is we'll test it. We'll see kind of where we're at right now. And we're going to take a dab of chocolate. All right. And we're going to put that right on the bottom of our scale. All right. I'm going to get a little more just to make sure we have enough. Okay. And so we just slide it up. And we see where we land it with the holes. I would say that this chocolate is about 25 microns. Wonderful. I am going to strain the chocolate as it comes out. So if you look inside the bowl, you can see that there's the top part that didn't quite get mixed into the chocolate. That's not going to be the same consistency. So we want to make sure that when we tilt this out, any part of that comes in doesn't make its way through, so it just gets caught up in the strainer. Yeah, so it's just a little extra precaution to ensure a nice, consistent product. So we do this big tilt, and the chocolate's gonna stream out. And now you can see just the velvety smooth chocolate falling through. So it is a liquid chocolate at the moment, and so we are going to do a couple of different things. We're going to hold back about 2 of these vats, and we're going to put them in our proofer. And a proofer basically maintains a nice warm temperature. It'll be held at about 35 degrees, which will keep it in a nice workable liquid form, but not so hot that it would impact the flavor. Next, we've kind of taken this chocolate to its logical conclusion, and so most of our chocolate goes a little bit further than this. So we make chocolate bars, and we make truffles and different things out of our chocolate, lollipops or filled products. And so all of those items require a step called tempering. And so tempering is when we run a temperature cycle on the chocolate and essentially get it into the right form to be able to harden. All right, so we've got a chocolate mold here, and we've got our chocolate, which is in temper. We've already run the temperature cycle and run some tests on it to make sure that this will indeed solidify into a nice chocolate. And so what's happening here is we've got a water jacket here, which we are throwing cold water into, and then we're heating it up. And so that's how we control the temperature. And then we've got a pump here, which is pulling chocolate into the arm, and then the arm is pushing it through. So this chocolate is just continually cycling around and around. And so it's already pre-calibrated for 50 grams, which is the size of our molds. So this is gonna make our job really easy. We're gonna fill out 1 shot per cavity, and then we'll go over and we'll clean up the mold, and we'll vibrate out all the bubbles. So this is a vibrating table, which is really nice because we used to just vibrate by banging the molds against the table, but this allows me to be hands off. And so it is taking any air that's in the chocolate and bringing it up to the surface. Okay, so 16 bars makes up a tray. And then this goes into the fridge, and it will set in the fridge for about 10 minutes. You'll know when the chocolate starts to separate itself from the bottom of the cavity. All right, so our chocolate has set. The backs of the bars look great. And so now what we're gonna do is demold them. And we'll do a little bit of QA just to make sure that they are up to standards. And so we will demold always with a lint-free glove, and just kind of give that a tap, and we'll do a few of them here. There we go. Nice. All right, so there's some of the bars that we've done. We'll look it around, nice clean back, got our good logo. And now what we'll do is we'll snap it, make sure that we hear a nice, clean, crisp snap. Nice. And we'll do a little bit of a taste test. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us behind the scenes at McGuire Chocolate. I hope you learned something, had some fun, and we'll see you next time.
I can still taste that delicious chocolate. Mark McGuire and his team really know how to make magic happen with cacao.
They absolutely do. And the fun doesn't stop there. When we come back, Mark and Victoria McGuire will be joining us in studio to take the Good Day from the Bay Questionnaire.
You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Good Day from the Bay. We are now joined by co-founders of McGuire Chocolate on Water Street in St. Andrews, Victoria and Mark McGuire. Thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome, welcome. So, of course, we do full disclosure here on Good Day from the Bay. I worked for you guys last season, and so I got to see this magical process all the time and what you do. But first, let's take a step back, and if you guys could tell us, how did you get into chocolate making, and how did you bring it to St. Andrews?
Oh, goodness. Well, I was backpacking back in 2015. I was going through Central America. And I kind of ran into cacao beans, as you do, and I'd never seen them before, so it kind of took me back that this little seed that doesn't look or feel or taste or smell anything like chocolate, how does that become chocolate? So I started trying to make chocolate, realized it was super hard to do, and ended up bringing a bunch of cacao back to me. I was back to Calgary, where I was living at the time, taking my bag of cacao around to every chocolate shop in the city and asking, can you help me make chocolate? And I was just learning that chocolate making was quite a rare thing, that the industry practice was to buy chocolate and then make things out of chocolate. So that kind of started me down this journey of making chocolate from the cacao beans. And so I met Victoria at about this time, and I had set up an apartment with chocolate making equipment and cacao beans, and we spent 3 years kind of making chocolate and honing our craft and kind of starting the business. So we were working full time, and then on the evenings and weekends, we would go to markets, got a website, we're selling our chocolate bars and distributing through stores and kind of growing the business on the side, all the while kind of thinking, what could this be? And so kind of, we spent about 1.5 years looking around Canada at different towns and places that we could potentially build a chocolate factory in. And so that kind of led us here to St. Andrews, and we made the move in 2019 and established things here.
It's very beautiful that the story of McGuire Chocolate also chronicles your relationship and your life together. Why is it, and I know our viewers just had the chance to watch you make chocolate and see the care that goes into making every bar, but why is it so important to you both to use top quality ingredients?
Well, I think it's just so common these days that you can look at the back of the ingredients of things and find ingredients that you might not have in your kitchen, or that you wonder, why is this in this food? And it was something that we bonded over in the beginning of our relationship on just wanting to eat clean and wanting to have real food that we understood. And so being able to make chocolate that's just simple, that's, there's no smoke and mirrors. That's why we have the glass wall in the shop, so that everybody can see right back in, and it's just about transparency, and we just like to have our food be clean, and that's just our core food philosophy.
Yeah. Before I met Mark, I would say that I didn't really like chocolate. Kind of tricked me into all of it. But what I really liked the most about it was chocolate's a lot like wine or coffee or different varieties of apples. Every bean has its own flavor profile based on where it comes from. And growing up, all the chocolate I had, or all the candy bars I had, all tasted the same. Like chocolate was a single note. But once you really dive to the next level, and you're purchasing, well, we purchase fermented cacao that's traced back to the farm where the beans grew. Even if the farms are beside each other or in the same country, those beans can have very different flavor profiles. So when we started, we only did 2 ingredient chocolate, so it was just cacao bean and cane sugar. And when you're working with those high quality beans, you want to also complement them with the highest quality sugar you can get, and cocoa butter and any other inclusions that go in. And when we started, it was very much a tasting profile. So we would have beans from all these different origins, sit down and taste them. You'd let the chocolate melt in your mouth. And I think it was specifically tasting Madagascar cacao, which actually tastes like raspberry jam all on its own, is what really made me fall in love with chocolate.
Yeah, that's one thing I loved when I was working for you guys is you know, all these, you know, 70% dark chocolate, but from the different the Tanzania, the Madagascar, the Vietnam, et cetera, and yeah, they did have these unique tastes, and I have to say Madagascar is always one of my favorites. It's so good.
I do have to ask, because your pet Hank has become quite a celebrity and works very hard for his money. I like to think my dog is the hardest working dog in St. Andrews, but I think Hank might take the cake on that one.
Well, maybe Maud's the hardest working dog and Hank's the hardest working cat.
Yes, there
How
you
did
go.
you integrate, how did Hank become a star of McGuire?
Well, when I met Mark, he very much always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and he wanted to have a family business. So I think that really jived with St. Andrews. So we're lucky enough we live above our chocolate factory, and we now have 2 little boys, and Mark's mom also works in the store. And naturally, we had to include our cats.
He's a part of the family, so everybody works.
Yes.
And he's got quite the position. He's the CEO. So really, we all work for Hank, which is very true. We just decided to put him on the packaging and to create an entire lineup of chocolate bars built around his fictional characters. And we tell a history of chocolate through the lens of his characters. So it was just kind of like a really sort of playful way to both tell the story of chocolate, but just to kind of captivate people and to have people look at it in a different way. When you see the bar on the shelf, like, it always draws that, you know, just joy from people to see our cat dressed up like a pirate on a chocolate bar, and so it's been I think one of the like a really sort of fun way for us to make our bars stand out on the shelf.
Okay, should we jump into the questionnaire and get to?
It's time
I
for
think
the
it's
Good Day
time.
from the Bay Questionnaire.
Good
Do you
day
want to kick it off, Jonathan?
Sure. So, okay.
This is our first duo.
Yes, our first duo
So
of the
feel free to
questionnaire.
answer one or both of every question.
Yeah. Okay. Question 1. What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done? That's to Mark.
So I joined a crew to sail a ship from Nova Scotia to St. Martin's in the Caribbean. We were going to deliver this pirate ship, and when we got there, we would be dressed up like pirates and do Pirates of the Caribbean tours. But we ran into a couple of snags on the water, and we were actually quite inexperienced, and it was winter, and like the weather just messed us right up, and the sails were ripped, the motors had died, the boom was bending, we were in a huge storm, and the radios died too. So we were kind of like 70 miles off the coast of Cape Cod, and luckily the Coast Guards had been able to find us just based on previous recordings of us, and they did a really miraculous saving of us, rescue, and we had to like jump from ship to ship. There was a helicopter, and it was quite an adventure.
This is the top answer for the question.
We're a little blown away here. That's an adventure for sure. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
If the Coast Guard's not involved, I'm not taking any other answers.
Yeah, really, exactly.
If you could only eat one cuisine for the rest of your life, what would it be? And I guess it could be chocolate.
I'll go chocolate if I can put it in all the different ways that we can use it, because it's very versatile, and we can have brownies, we can have chocolate, we can do truffles, we can do all kinds of things.
What about you, Victoria? Cuisine?
I mean, chocolate's the obvious answer, but I'm also, it's not very healthy, but I'm a sucker for chips.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I don't know if
Sweet on
that's the
your
only
salty.
thing, is it the only thing I can eat? I probably would get sick of them pretty quick, but.
We'll do chocolate and chips.
There we go.
Yin
Sweet
yang.
and savory.
There we go. Okay, where is your happy place? Or, yeah.
Probably the chocolate factory. I mean, we've had many iterations. So there was the initial Mark's basement, or Mark's apartment, and then we got health approval in the basement of our second home together. That's where Mark proposed to me while working. He wanted me to finish my work first. And then, and now, like, I actually love it in the morning. A lot of the times, my youngest son, Connor, he'll come down and he'll make morning coffee with me in the factory at the espresso machine, and that's a very special moment.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I need to point out for viewers at home, oldest son, Charlie. Charlie and the chocolate.
Charlie
I know
and the
that wasn't
chocolate.
intentional, but too cute.
Yeah.
What is your favorite local place to celebrate at with friends or family?
The Char and Chowder is a really great spot for us because our children are young, wild, and free. And so the open space is just really great for them to run around. They dance, they interact with everybody. It's a really great environment. And then we're super close if we need to run home for any reason. It's really, really great.
And the live music, they always call it the party. They want to go to the party.
Nice. What's your favorite local festival or event?
We really love Paddle Fest. Every year we try to do the Paddle Fest Wharf to Wharf run. And our other one that we really like is the Father's Day Road Race. Those are kind of our fun things to do before the season really gets going and we're working all the time.
Right. And I also know you two are both very competitive. And I think you've each both won that race, haven't you?
I definitely have not.
But didn't you
won the Paddle Fest 2 years ago, the 11K.
Oh, for females, yeah.
Yes, yes. And then I won the year before.
Right.
No competition, not at all.
It's nice because you get to the anticipation and the training, and you're kind of coming out of winter, so it's like it's something to really like set your sights on before things get too crazy. So it's something that it's really kind of caught on for us in terms of just something we do every year and we look forward to.
And again, great with the kids. The kids love running, and they race us up and down the alley, and
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
What keeps you awake at night with worry?
I sleep like a baby.
And I'd like to know how much more time we have.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. There's a lot to keep us awake, I'm sure, especially as an entrepreneur, Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but so I like to think I have a very healthy adult fear of ghosts. So that's one. And then Hank always wakes me up, almost every night. Every night without fail, I can put out as much food or as much whatever he wants, and it doesn't matter. He knows exactly what to do to get me out of bed. Jonathan, you might.
Yeah, I have a similar little orange cat at home who will not let me sleep past 4:55 a.m. Okay, who in your life do you look up to the most?
Well, I definitely very much admire my mom and dad. They, are very, very special to me. Also, Mark's mom, Carol, she's another person I really look up to. The way that she's able to interact with people is like aspirational. People come from all over just to see her in the shop, and if I'm there, they're so disappointed.
I can attest to that, because when I was working there, they come in, it's like, is Carol here? I'm like, I'm sorry, she's not. Well, they didn't want to talk to me. Yeah, she's great. I love her.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Well, I would like time travel. I would love to just kind of go throughout history and just be a fly on the wall and a participant in just sort of life, kind of in the past and in the future. Try not to disrupt, or maybe a little, and maybe just kind of understand the mechanics of how it all happens. I think that would just be super cool.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
You?
Sure. In grade 10 science, my science teacher told me that people don't know what you don't know unless you tell them. And so he basically was telling me to keep my mouth shut. Because if you can give off that air of knowing what you're doing if you're just quiet, but if you're gonna keep talking, I know that you didn't do your homework, or whatever the topic is.
That's good. I have not heard that. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Very good one.
What accomplishment are you most proud of?
I think probably our family and our chocolate shop, like our store, everything that we do there. We've done well with our chocolate internationally, which is very exciting. We've gotten quite a few international chocolate awards. So those are really special.
Yeah, just take a lot of pride in it, and so it's just nice to kind of slow down a little bit and appreciate it all, because sometimes you're just go in the grind all the time, but seeing the boys grow up in the shop and having it all be sort of a full family business, it's been great.
What is your guilty pleasure or current obsession?
Do you have anything good?
It's okay if it's reality TV.
That's the first thing I'm thinking of. We've been definitely watching more Survivor. We've watched a show called Alone. I don't know if you've heard of that.
No, I haven't heard of
It's
that one.
people dropped into the wilderness and they have to see how long they can survive
I'll hook you up.
by themselves.
Okay.
It's quite intense. It's good.
Oh, cool. Okay.
What else? We were watching the Olympics. That was another thing that kind of kept us up at night. Like we would, after the kids went to sleep, we would catch up on that.
I recommend if you like Alone, Naked and Afraid. next level Alone.
I'm behind on these. Okay.
What's your favorite smell?
There are so many amazing smells all around us all the time.
Especially in your shop.
Yeah, everything from like roasting cacao to, oddly enough, toasting coconuts really kind of, that just somehow, I don't know what it is, but toasted coconut is just intoxicating for me. But I like morning dew, if you can get outside and just kind of smell fresh rain that's fallen off of grass and like that whole, coffee. I mean,
another good one.
Right? Just like freshly ground coffee, freshly brewed coffee. Like, I mean, if you could get some morning dew and some coffee at the same time.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, we've come to the last question. If you could invent a holiday, what would it celebrate and how would you celebrate?
Well, I think that we would create Hank Day.
Oh, I like it.
Yes, everybody would have a per diem.
Okay, good.
You have to get a certain amount of purrs, and yeah, just relax with your pets. Really, would be the theme of the day.
Well,
I love that.
Yeah.
I have to say, one of my favorite parts of the day when I was working for you guys, I'd go take a break and sit in the back, and Hank would jump onto my lap and sit there and have a cuddle until he was done, and then off he would go. Yeah, it was a great moment of the day. So I loved it. Yeah, Hank Day. That's really good. Really good.
Well, I did want to point out too, when we come back from commercial break, Jonathan and I will be doing the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, and I understand, Victoria, this has a very important meaning for you.
Yeah, so shortly after we moved here, my mom and dad moved out as well. And not long after they got here, my mom was diagnosed with ALS. And she passed away in 2022. So since that time, or well, before that, I didn't really know anything about the disease. And it's quite, it's a challenging one. And I'm really grateful that after going through it, I've gotten to know a lot of other people who have as well, or who've had a family member. And I've joined the board for the ALS Society New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, and Mark and I are also raising money through ALS gift boxes. So they're boxes of chocolates that we're selling online and in store, where 100% of the profits go to the ALS Society. And one thing this year is that it's the 10-year anniversary of the Ice Bucket Challenge, and that was very significant for ALS awareness. So we're working to kind of bring that awareness back again. The ALS Society of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, they're raising money to replace their lot of breathing equipment. So 50% of all profits raised are going to go to specifically breathing equipment, and then the other 50% is going to go towards research.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we're ready for it. We'll be. Yeah. Now, of course, before we let you go, I have to, indulge myself for a moment and just mention the McGuire signature brownie. So for all those people we asked, what's your favorite treat? If you haven't been to McGuire's for the signature brownie, you have to go. Because I've been a brownie connoisseur my entire life. And never have I had a better brownie than the McGuire brownie.
It's true.
So,
yeah,
absolutely amazing.
It's a life-changing experience.
It is. That's what people say.
And so is your coffee. I would like to give a shout out to the coffee as well.
Yes. Yeah, which comes from Epic Chemistry in Moncton, so it's roasted locally.
It is, yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. It's always so great to see you guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
When we come back from break, you won't want to miss this. Jonathan and I will be down on the wharf in St. Andrews doing the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. And you are going to be excited to see who we nominate to do it next.
Stay with us. Welcome back to Good Day from the Bay. This year marks the 10th anniversary of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, a movement that has raised millions for ALS, a disease that still has no cure.
You've seen the viral videos, and now you're about to see Jonathan and I join the fight against ALS by taking the Ice Bucket Challenge down at the St. Andrews Wharf. Let's take a look.
Here we are down on the wharf at St. Andrews to do the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. So how are you feeling, Vicki?
I'm feeling progressively more nervous. I feel like I kind of want to get it over with, but I am extremely excited to challenge Brad Henderson, our mayor, to the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Absolutely,
next.
Brad. And Brad, we won't make you do it alone. You can bring the town councilor of your choice. So how's that?
Yeah, we're doing it together,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
they may as well. All right.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous too, but I'm just the thing I'm more worried about is who's going to scream more like a little girl, me or you?
I think I'll be higher. You'll be louder. And to explain why is that these buckets are so full of ice and water that we need help to
We
dump
do
them on
need help. We
ourselves.
can't even lift them. We're so weak. So we have our two icers here. That's how we call them. And we're going to count them down. All right, are you ready? Let's do all dance. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Wow! Okay. Okay. Yes, okay.
Brad Henderson?
Brad Henderson.
You're next.
You're next. Thank you for watching us doing the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. We highly recommend it. Well, that was refreshing, to say the least.
I think that is the closest you and I will get to taking the polar dip. If you at home feel inspired to make your own video, use the hashtag IceBucket10.
Or, if you'd like to donate to important ALS research, you can visit als.org. Every little bit helps in the fight against ALS.
We will be right back with anniversaries and milestones after these short messages.
Welcome back to Good Day from the Bay. We love celebrating your special moments.
First up, a huge congratulations to Jim and Paula Ross of Shamcook on their 30th wedding anniversary. What a milestone.
We were lucky enough to attend the big community party Jim and Paula had for their anniversary at the Bayside Community Hall. Happy 30 years, Jim and Paula.
And happy 60th anniversary to Roosevelt Campobello International Park. CHCO attended a special ceremony to celebrate 6 decades of the only international park in the world earlier this summer. The event was attended by esteemed guests like Law & Order and Grace and Frankie actor Sam Waterston, Senator Angus King of Maine, and New Brunswick Premier Blaine Higgs.
We also recently attended the 60th anniversary of Sunbury Shores in St. Andrews. The beloved Arts and Nature Center held a swinging 60s-themed anniversary party at the Huntsman Marine Science Center. Partygoers were dressed to the nines in their best retro styles.
We love sharing your celebrations, so keep sending them into goodday@chco.tv.
Thank you for joining us on Good Day from the Bay. We'll see you next time.
Good day from the Bay, everyone.
Good Day from the Bay is produced through the facilities of CHCO Television with support from people in our region.